What's up, Bills fans? I'm sorry, I should have probably done this earlier. Oh, what a. Oof. I don't think the only time I could enjoy the game was when Diggs caught the last touchdown. Maybe even when Tremaine intercepted it. I just what a long week for everybody. Um, it seemed like forever since they played. I mean, the Bears Monday was till today was a blur. It just seemed like hell. Everything that went on, and nothing to do with me as an individual. Just we know with the team, just the unfortunate situation, and nobody's ever seen anything like that before. I mean, somebody asked me, and I think it was my mom. As a matter of fact, she said, "Has anything like this happened before?" And I said, the only thing that I could ever recall close was what was worse was Corey Stringer back in '99. He passed during a training camp practice. He was doing what's up, Eric? How you doing, man? It's just that was the only thing I could think of that even came close was Corey Stringer, and he lost his life. He died. It was, if you guys remember, some of you won't remember him. He was a good He was a really good offensive lineman, and he was only 27 years old. I think they attributed to a weight loss thing, or he was like, finishing the conditioning test back when they used to do the 2-a-day padded practices and stuff. And he just kind of body wouldn't cool. His body went into like this crazy hyperventilation and he passed. What's up, Matt? How you doing, bro? What's up, Zach? Yeah, it was a crazy situation that had happened to him. But it's crazy because he was so big, but he was really, really good. And, saw him playing at Ohio State. I think the Lions just fumbled, or is he down? Thanks for popping in here, guys. But what a crazy, what a crazy game. It was almost surreal that they were playing again. Like, it was like this whole week was a blur. Monday till the time Hines is running back the kickoff, and I'm like, is he really going to take this shit back? And I'm like, it was just wow. And even when that happened and the scores 14-14, the Bills go down 17-14, even before the second one, before he Leon Washington's them, I'm like, they're not going to lose this game. They are just not going to lose this game. Whatever happens, they're not losing. The next one is even longer. And I was like, there it is. And they never look back. And the defense just looked like they had to get their feet under them for the first half because they played better in the second half. They forced the turnovers, but I'm watching the game. Man, and it's like nobody was near a receiver. I don't know if that was the game plan. Maybe they were they just did. Patriots are just wide open. Zach Wilson, Jesus Christ. Mac Jones didn't have to make a tough throw all first half, and then they pulled up the graphic. I don't know about you guys, but Tony Romo was annoying the fuck out of me all game. He was just like, oh, this Patriots team is dangerous. They're ready. Or he just kept just gushing about them. It was just like, dude, fucking relax. I know he's got a key. It was just like enough already. And then I think it was at one point, he was like 12 for 12 on all their scoring drives. And then sure enough, before the half, Allen throws the pick. And it was like, Jesus Christ. It's just the same things. This whole season was the same in the sense that they either would turn the ball over in the red zone, keep points off the board, whether it was 3 or not, or they give a turnover inside their 20 and give a team 3 points, like they did in Miami, like they did today. Free 3 points. Come here and take it. Was it Chad Morton? I know Leon Washington got us a couple of times, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was Chad twice in a row. And Aaron Rodgers just got picked off. Wow, this guy's really got his number. But there's a flag down. Let's see what happened. But yeah, it was just a crazy day. And then in the second half, Allen just started, going deep. The first one to Smoke, I thought he had overthrew him, and Smoke still has juice, man, because he ran under that ball and caught it. It kind of reminded me of the one that he caught against Denver back in 2019. It reminded me, and then he got Diggs blazing down the left sideline. That was a real. Oh, it's coming back. He got, and that was huge. And he was trying to get him that Billy Brooks record. I mean, he tied it, but he wanted to get him that 12th touchdown reception. I even felt Davis should have had the one. I don't think Homeboy came over soon enough, and I think he just misjudged it. I mean, Davis should have just had that one very, very easily. Yeah, it was. I believe it, Matt. I mean, he was a cramp in the balls. It always seemed like the Jets back then, they had some kick returner, whether it was Morton or Leon Washington. Brad Smith did it to the Bills, even on punt returns before he started playing with the Bills. It just they got the Bills number with kick returns back then. It was just annoying. But today, there was a couple of things that stood out. The defense got its legs under them in the second half. They played better. They only gave up, what was it, 9 points? 9 points in the second half. Granted, it was one was on a turnover after they just got to stop. Trey gets his first pick since the Jets. I saw it here at MetLife, and that was his first pick, timely pick. I mean, he turned around, he ran the route for the receiver, just forced Nelson Aguilar to the sideline, used the sideline as a second defender, and just caught the ball beautifully. Gabe did have some. I mean, he had. I want to say he had another one today, but I just don't want to bash him too much. But he should have had that one in the end zone. That was a touchdown. And maybe that pass was a little bit to the outside. That would have been a hard catch. That would have been a very hard catch for him to make. But you'd like to think that he could, but it was a pretty hard catch. That one I know you're talking about, Eric. I know McKenzie had a drop. And it was before the Smoke touchdown. It would have been like a 9-yard completion or something like that, but he dropped it. And there's like 30 drops this year. It's just an insane amount of drops. I don't even know what to say. But the turnovers too, it's like they're even on turnovers. 30 turnovers, 30 giveaways. Like, if this team could just stop doing that shit. Oh, see, Campbell, you took it out of my mouth. That's the other thing. He's a nice player, but Motor putting the ball on the deck for me, and you saw a lot of Cook after him. Cook has to start getting more of the burn. He just has to. He's a bigger play waiting to happen. He hasn't had a fumble since week 1. Let me shut up. But Motor doesn't even carry the ball 200 times a year, and he's put the ball on the deck 3 times this year. And, you might say, oh, well, that's not – well, it is. For a guy who doesn't touch the ball a lot, he can't be putting it on the deck there either, because that happened the last time in Baltimore. And I believe Baltimore, I think they got held to a field goal on that one. But did it in week 1, did it in Baltimore, did it today. He just Cook is he's a lot more consistent, and he just looks like he is a bigger play waiting to happen. He's 5.7 yards a carry. You've got to get him more involved. Is it just me? This is just an observation. I don't know about what you guys see. You guys watch the game in the stadium. Some of you, or you're watching it on TV. And this is not just the Bills game. We're more hyper focused on the Bills game, of course. But if you just watch the league, is the spotting of the ball just been terrible? Or is it just me? Like, the player falls with the ball and the ref comes in and either just like conveniently puts the ball more back than the player was, or slightly more forward than even where the guy's body was. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there was one where they called Cook short, and even the Dawson Knox catch on the sideline, those ended up being like 3rd and 1s. Does the league just want 3rd and 1 or 2nd and short situations? They just want to constantly just mark the ball short. It's just But the marking of the ball, that's the simplest thing, Eric. You're looking at it, it's like you're right there. The ball is there. Like it's I don't care if the player, nobody touched him. That's where it just frustrates, maddening to me. And I've seen it all year. I'm sorry for that tangent. It's just been a god. It's always like it's either a half a yard short, this, just these minutia little things. I'm like, how did you discern it was that far away or that short or that much up? I don't get it. It's just mad annoying. And it's been happening all year. But the big play, I think so, man. I think so, Zach, because but the big play definitely returned in the second half. I mean, the offense was a lot more. The offense just had one touchdown drive, but that was more of a methodical drive. And in the second half, you had the big secure catch for 28 yards. I'm glad to see he got off the schneid. He needs to, start producing. Then you see Smoke, he's active. He makes a big impact in the game. And that's huge having him there. What's good, Doug? How you doing, bro? How you doing, Steve? In the first half, no bueno. In the second half, better. Um, they just didn't look like they wanted anything deep over their head. I mean, I get it. The team, their head's been all over the place. I mean, Trey worded it in the press conference, as a shit show all week, and I don't think he meant it in a harsh way. It's been crazy. You have media people wanting to talk to you. You want to be able to just decompress and try to, focus on your teammate and your, young kid that you play with and who's young as hell and has got his whole life ahead of him, and you're conflicted. You got to go out there and play a game. The game matters to you. That's a man. This team, I you cannot write a storybook this year for this team, and people would not believe it. From week 1, was it Kim Pagula's health? We don't know what that is. The Matariza situation. Week 1, that they get, Oliver gets injured. I think there was another injury there. Wins Trey coming back. Week 2, at the end of the game too, Hyde goes down for the year. You lose him for the year. Just, oh Jesus. Then the Dane Jackson injury, it looks horrific. Just his neck bent backwards. It looks like his neck is broken. Jordan Phillips gets injured running down the celebrated Milano's INT pick 6. The next week it's the Heat in Miami. Just, insane situation. The following week in Baltimore, the rain, the comeback, and you lose Crowder in that game. Pittsburgh. Then you get the KC win. I believe they go into the bye game after that, and it's just, they come out flat 2 weeks in a row. That insane Miami situation. I mean, Allen's elbow in the Jets game. Forgot about that. That whole week of not knowing whether he would play or not play. Then the Minnesota, just Jesus Christ. You couldn't write a book about, I mean, in just one game, just the craziest shit happening. The craziest. And then to go from there, they get the game moved, a home game against Cleveland, moved to Detroit. Then they go back there for Thanksgiving. And then the weather situation, it just, you just couldn't make it up. And then Buffalo has another crazy storm. It just, I mean, I could just go on and on and on. Then you lose Vaughn for the year. You go to the Chicago. They had sub-zero temperatures, and then think you're going to get a normal game somewhat Monday night, long week after a Saturday game. And then, the DeMar situation happens past the midpoint of the first quarter. And it's just, what more can this team go through? What more can happen? You can't even write a soap opera. Dawson Knox's brother. You just can keep. I'm forgetting stuff. It was nice to end their season. It was nice to send them home after as many times. I mean, we all of us has sat here for 2 decades plus. How many times have the Bills played a meaningless game against that team to end the year? You know what I mean? I could think of so many where the Bills just got boat raced at the end of the year against that team, or just lost a close one, whether it was whoever the quarterback or head coach combo was. It was nice to just, John Murphy had a stroke. Jesus Christ. It just, what more? I mean, what more? I'm sitting here like, what the hell else can happen? But it was nice for this team, and this group of players. And maybe I sound like maybe I still sound like a fanboy, but the leadership that this team has internally is as good as any of the league. I don't know if a GM and a head coach and a community and a team that is like this could come through this. Because if the team would have went out there and just got beat today, despite their record, they would end up being a third seed. I don't think anybody could have been mad at them because of everything that's going on. But even the ebbs and flows within the game, they weathered it, they held it down, and then they overcame it and walked away with a 12-point win. And they didn't play a great game. They had some big plays when they needed them, but they didn't have a great game. It wasn't a crisply played game on their part by any means, offensively or defensively. Special teams was excellent. Anytime you can, get 2 kick returns for touchdowns and kick all your PATs, and coverage was pretty solid. They forced Falk to kick one, squib it, and he ended up kicking it out of bounds. Bills get it at the 40. I mean, so overall, I feel like they've really overcame. I mean, we just get so caught up in what's going on now. I feel like, that Jesus Christ. They weren't going to make it easy, Eric. I swear to God. When that happened, then I'm like, this guy is a special teams captain, the guy who knew to not do that. And it's just like, for me, it's like right there. I'm like, of course, I feel like they're going to win, but it was just like, not to be nowhere near that situation. It's so fucking annoying. It was just one of those annoying things. It's like he's pointing at it, stay away. Everybody knows to stay away. I don't know if you're allowed to push a guy into the ball, but I think as a player of that caliber, you should know not to be near that ball. But it was interesting after the game. You saw some pretty long tenured Patriots, pretty emotional, namely Tate and his name escaping me right now. Devin McCourty. They look like they're gonna Slater. Sorry, Brandon Tate. I always get those two confused. There's Tate and Slater. And then Tate ended up playing for the Bills. He ended up being part of that 2017 team. He had that big moment on the sideline after he made that catch, and he looked like this was going to be a special teams guy there forever and a day. Number 18, and Devin McCourty, his brother's on TV now. Rutgers kid. It'll they've been there forever. I think it was 2011. So Jackie Slater's son. It's crazy. His son, he was an offensive tackle, and his kid's a wide receiver. I don't think he's done coaching. I think he's kind of the guy you're gonna have to like blow out of there with TNT, a wrecking ball, the jaws of life. Um, but you could say maybe they gave the Bills their best game this year. I mean, it wasn't going to be easy. They they were a dangerous team. Their back was against the wall. Um, they they feel like they had to they had to win and get in. They had to win to get in, and they went for it a few times on fourth down. The Bills got a stop on one. I believe they got the Bills on a few, and it was one QB sneak. The other was a couple of rollout passes to Kobe Myers. Those are really really irritating. Yeah, that's kind of a crazy situation. That's kind of the nuevo thing. That's kind of the in vogue thing. It's like you know, just quit, similar to what happened with Sean Payton last year, and then come back in, and then come back in when you feel like there's a more advantageous situation that's going to avail itself. That looks like the new model now for these coaches that want to be able to move themselves around the bingo board, much like players. But he's also kind of doing his team a turn, right? He's if a team, he gets to sit out for a year, if somebody wants to acquire him, his team is going to get draft compensation. Yeah, that was a crazy catch. It just, the game of small margins, and when the Bills had a toe tap situation, Diggs was clearly out there at the back of the end zone. There was the one goal line sequence there at the end. They were inside the 20 before Allen threw the lazy pick before he got hit. I was mad that they didn't run the ball. Your first and goal at what, the 12 or 14. I'm like, they had two timeouts. They had like 29 seconds. I'm like, run the ball. Run the ball there at one point. Just run the ball. Damn, the Packers just blew a gasket pushing Detroit's athletic trainers. Or did Walker get kicked out of the game like he did in Buffalo? Did he get kicked out of the game? He was ejected. That's wild. That's wild. That's a first round pick, and he's been playing good football for them. I mean, they've been playing much better football, and to just get yourself put out of a game like this is just insane. That's crazy. Yeah, Zach Davison, he pushed on the sideline. I just don't understand. What's up, Jake? How you doing, bro? I like him a lot. Touchdown. Oh, he's short by a pube. They're gonna go for it on fourth if they don't make it. It was just reported he was crying after he didn't learn. Yeah, I just what's up, Tim? How you doing, bro? What's up? How you doing, man? Let's see if they punch it in, guys. They're gonna have to rush. 7, 4, 2. He had to take a timeout. You have to burn like damn. Could Homeboy's nose get any redder? But I'm gonna stay on with you guys till we learn what the schedule is next week. I mean, we'll know after this game, right? We'll know pretty soon after this game what the playoff. Oh, he's having a titty attack in the tunnel. Come on, dude. You can't be crying. You got to know better than that. You got to know better. You can't be crying like that, bro. Come on now. Yeah, sure. I think they're ready to roll them out. They just kind of, you know how the NFL is. They have to like, everything is just a big unveiling. Walk-in touchdown. Yeah, Johnny, I don't know. There's just, I mean, with the way the world is now, I mean, and this is before the internet world. I mean, I remember this before the internet world. There's some people, you know, some people that believe everything is like that. Like I have a friend, like he's a Viking fan. He believe like he'll watch like crazy and he'll root like crazy. But then he came to me last year, you're like, and he was just like right before the playoffs, he's like, you know, the NFL fixes it, right? So his whole thing was, oh, so they can have Brady and Rodgers at the end for the NFC Championship game. And I'm like, you think they fix it? So did they? Then I asked him, I said, did they fix it for the Minnesota Miracle? They did they fit, but like then I started at, and then he's like, he started sitting there thinking, but that's just how he is. It is one way when it's this when the way he likes it, and it's a fix when he doesn't like it. 2 games on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. I think the Bills are either going to get the Saturday, sorry, not the Saturday, the Sunday night game, or they're going to get the Monday night game. I think that's how it's going to go. Yeah, me too. I'm waiting for that too. How you doing, Steve? Well, I mean, I don't think it was a bad game plan, Steve. I mean, you look at they had that 1 3 and out stop in midfield. Cam Lewis runs into homeboy, and it's it's a it's a touchdown. Josh gets strip sacked. They get 3 points. I mean, let's be honest. The Bills have to stop turning the ball over this much. It's today it was 3. I mean, they got 3 back on offense, but they need to play a clean game offensively. They absolutely have to. It's too few and far between that clean games happen. And that's again 10 points. They kept themselves from getting 3 points, gifted the Patriots. I mean, granted, they had an interception of their own, but I think Trey's was a lot more well played and difficult. I mean, McCourty's was a gift. Yeah, the red zone interceptions, Jake, and it's 2 red zones. The Bills are turning the ball over with their backs to their own end zone inside their 20, and they're turning over the ball in the shadow of the opponent's end zone. And to me, that's a touchdown flip minus the extra point. It looks the score 38-20 looks better to me. Oh, one of these assholes. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Taryn was good today. And I was a little worried. He was in concussion protocol, and it was just a lot of situations. Like today with the Patriots, their usual to and through the whistle bullshit that they like to pull, similar to last week. I mean, everybody wants to talk about how the Bengals were great. Their whole organization, this and that. But I'm like, dude, go back and watch the Hayden Hurst cleanup on fucking Taron Johnson when he buries him and then follows through. How he didn't get an unsportsmanlike, unnecessary roughness on that, I don't fucking know. And then Josh getting leg whipped by Hendrickson in the balls and his ankle rolled up on. I don't know how that doesn't get looked at. Yeah, I didn't see the injuries, Doug. I tried looking. I had a lot of sketchy get rid of it, Rogers. Okay, so he was legitimately stopped short of the first down. You can mark him short. I know Hill was in and out. Um I had a little not a back and forth. Me and my friend discussed a little bit. I'm like, look, the climate of things are now, especially forget his own situation, but on the heels of this week, with Hamlin, and then given to his history, there is no way in hell he's playing this game. There is absolutely no way he's playing. There's no way the NFL is going to risk the optics of a primetime playoff game of that kid being stretchered off or ambulanced off the Highmark Stadium turf after what happened to Hamlin on this past Monday and given to his history, because football is under attack. It has been under attack. It's under attack more so now than ever. And it's just they're just not going to risk that at all. So I think Miami just they know better than to put that kid out there this week. I think it's either going to be Bridgewater or is it going to be it's going to be or it's going to be Thompson. Um it's hard to say, Steve. I mean, you just got to get out there and play. I mean, the Bengals didn't look particularly impressive today, but they're playing a Ravens team. They just kind of had their third string quarterback out there. They sat a bunch of guys. The Bengals wanted to win the game, obviously. That was stupid with the coin flip. Yeah, really nice to see Shakir get involved. I mean, we've been waiting for it. Oof, bad miss by Rodgers, and it just hasn't happened. I mean, KC has played just their divisions turn out to be terrible. Minus the Chargers. I mean, the Raiders have just been a comedy of just a debacle. Denver, the same thing. It's hard to say. I mean, yeah, there's just no way they're going to put the kid out there. Oh, I think the league is going to make sure that they know better than to do that. Money, money. I mean, McDaniels did the same thing. I mean, he didn't even let Jay Cutler play for him before he switched out Kyle Orton for him. I mean, he made that trade with Chicago, and he was only in there in day one. I think they said Mike Williams was back spasm, so it's that I think it was Pelissero or Fowler put it out there that he's going to be fine. Let's see if they convert this. Intercepted again. Wow, Rodgers was just throwing it up, and that was the look. He's such a miserable old bastard. Wow, that's that's just a gift. That's just a gift. Gift int. So we'll only a few minutes away from knowing. Everybody's talking about the ejection. Ooh, Reed with the elbow shot. High to, I don't know who it was there. Williams. Jesus Christ. I didn't even see that. Did you guys see that? Was that to Swift or Williams he did that to? Swift. Oh, he WWE. He wrestling move right across the head. Did he get hurt today? What's up, outside looking in? I don't really think they care, Eric. I mean, because the quarterback situation there, I mean, there's no clear cut. The two best players in the draft to me are the Anderson kid, the defensive end, and then Carter, the defensive tackle from Georgia. Like everybody wants to say Bryce Young. Like, all right, 5'11" and 180 pounds. I'm not, or 190 pounds at quarterback in the NFL. You can keep it. Maybe the kid from Kentucky, they'll sell him as an Allen type esque ability guy. Maybe Stroud with the game he had against Georgia, but I don't know. They look like they're going to fire everybody there. Who do you think the best in the draft? Who do you think that, like, who is the best? Who is the best? There's position. I'm not a fan of drafting running backs, period. QB. I would just, I just don't like the size on that kid. It'd be Stroud or Levis. I just don't like, I mean, Bryce Young could have all the arm talent in the world, but he's too small. Those guys just don't hold up. He's tiny, and he's been injured already. I'd like to see a lot more of James Cook, but if the Bills are hopefully drafting 31st, Miami forfeited their first round pick, so the 31st team is the team that wins the Super Bowl, and Bijan Robinson is there. I would take him. That's for sure. I don't think you could go wrong at that point. Yeah, I mean, he's been hurt, I think, every year he's played. He's small. Lamar Jackson, I mean, I know he has his truthers and the people that are going to protect him. He's been hurt 3 straight years. He's been hurt 3 straight years. That's the fact. He's going to want money, and he's been hurt. And he's not near as small. Less Kenneth Davis. No, I mean, I'd like to see him, the Bills draft a bigger running back with some thump, with some pop behind his pads. I don't know why I was watching these games over the weekend, not the weekend, over the week, just to get my mind off everything that happened. I was watching some 95, 96 Bills, and all I said to myself was, the Bills need a running back like Derek Holmes. Just nice, light feet, excellent vision, just ran behind his pads, just a hammer. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, have the Bills had a running back like that since Holmes? I mean, Fred Jackson had some physicality to him. I mean, most people know him from the stiff arm that he gave. Was it Coda? Not Coda. Yeah, it was that safety for the Bears, a white kid. Always got injured, that kid. Did they call that a catch? Yeah, Derek Holmes, number 40. The great number too, 44. Yeah, Lynch, but all the great stuff Lynch did was all in a Seahawk uniform, and it doesn't really register with the Bills. I mean, he had the one bounce off run, long run against the Bengals to seal that game, but none of that, really putting your head down, making guys just, being a punishing 4-minute offense type of runner. And that kid can catch as well. I don't know if you guys watched him play at Texas much. He can catch. Oh, wow, Doug. That must have been a fucking scene. That was probably wild. Wow. Looks like the Packers are just self-destructing. Offsides. Yeah, 4th round pick for Lynch. Got a 3rd for Lee Evans. Crazy. Yeah, 7 and 9 teams should never go to the playoffs, Tim. That's just my opinion. But yeah, we just haven't had a guy like that. And I just thought about how they should look playing in the weather that they do, having the kind of team, just having the kind of, like, he just fumbled a lot, man. He just was such a fumbler, Matt. But I'm talking about like a real true talent, like a guy who could catch, who can block, who can run. Nah, that's a good stop. 2nd and 1, though. They got the first down. Don't take the timeout now. Oh, that's so stupid. Yep, that was it. Was painful watching him have those great runs. I've said this so many times in another uniform. It was painful, but I just I don't know if you guys can think of one, because Willis McGahee had the size. He wasn't a physical running back, though. I mean, he wasn't a hammer. I mean, I know Antoine Smith had some physical runs. I remember he had a run against the Raiders where he just totally ran over a guy. But just Derek Holmes was really, really good at that. Very, very good at that. Roosevelt Lease. That's shit. Just say Cookie Gilchrist for that matter, dude. Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know what the hell was going on there. It was in the sidelines. Yeah, I'm not paying a running back. I'm not paying a running back, Johnny. I wouldn't pay a running back. I mean, you got to have money for, I mean, you look at Hines today. I mean, he can catch. He's obviously fast. He can play running back. He can return. Yeah, it was weird. I think they just got him there to babysit Lynch. To be honest with you, he was there just to be Lynch's be his buddy. And I know they were like drag racing and some shit like that. So it's 2nd and 7. Oh, they got hit with a penalty too, going backwards. Yeah, he doesn't really count. He doesn't really count. But they have some, but playoffs is next week. We're gonna have a lot of draft discussion. You believe you me, I love that shit. But where the Bills are drafting now, it doesn't but I honestly always take the best player, but I do think they need to go offense this year. They really, really do, whether it's an offensive lineman, a receiver, even another tight end, a running back. They need to draft an offensive player high. I mean, they drafted James Cook high, but if they go O line, wide receiver, I'm all for that. 100%. I'm not gonna bat an eyelash at that. Oh, that was a crazy play. Wow. Did you guys just see that crazy shit? I mean, Matt, I would like that. I would like that. I mean, a guy who could, but he's big. Like this kid is 6'6", 5'11", 6'2", and then you have Allen, and then you have Cook. I mean, you just need that balance. Oh, I love it. I love it, Doug. I love it. That's the perfect. That's exactly where I want them. That's exactly where I want them. Just like the Jets today, all gas, no brakes. You think you close the gap with the Bills? What do you think? Receipt taken, 6-game losing streak. How do you like them apples? That's lovely. Lovely. Elam was on the field today, man. He gave up a touchdown. He needed to get his head around, then he ran past Parker. He's going to be gone. Let's go, Buffalo. That kid's not going to be around when the Bills pick. He's the first wide receiver gone. I was thinking more of a guy like Josh Downs from North Carolina, Zay Flowers from Boston College, somebody like that. If Cedric Tillman is there and he works out good, he's healthy, he's very, very intriguing to me. I don't know. Woody's upset. Woody's not happy. Woody didn't hire Saleh. Didn't hire Douglas either. Just saying. They could keep him. They fire him in the next hour. I would not be shocked. I would say this, Tim, and I think I said this like a few weeks ago. I was looking at like Cook. Cook is a Georgia running back. First of all those kids, they split time. Nobody just totes the rock because they have a bunch of 4 and 5 star recruits they have to keep happy. And with the transfer portal now, these kids can just go. I'm not getting burned here. I'm out. I'm going to go play for Coach Prime in Colorado, or I'm going to go here. So Cook only had 100 carries last year in 12 or 13 games. So he's at 90 carries now. And I think they're just big on pacing these kids. Like they just don't want to like run them into the ground. You know, he's not a big bulky kid, but does he need to get more burn? Is it go time? Yeah, it's go time. He needs to, tote the rock. Oh, I love Zach Charbonnet. Short. You gotta kick and make it a touchdown. You gotta kick. He said, let it go to 1 and call a timeout. The LSU kid was Davis Price. But again, 90 carries. He needs to get more. I mean, he needs to touch the ball 10 times a game going forward. What's up, Andrew? How you doing, bro? Good contact balance. He's running much better between the tackles. Like to me, he's Spiller with better vision. And like a lot more physicality. He'll run behind his pads a lot better. He runs behind his pads a lot better. So if he gets into the offseason and even if he puts on 5 to 8 pounds of good lean mass, that's huge. They're going to go for it. Or they're going to try to draw them off. It doesn't shock me. Yeah, CJ just was like, the hole's not there. I'm just going to take it to the outside. Let's see what it is, guys. Wow. Seattle's going to the playoffs. And the Lions have done it. Just sat down. Oh, this guy was running wide open into the end zone too. I can't see who it was, but he was going to go into the end zone. That's it. Wow, it does not shock me. I told teams a long time ago, like, remember when we were playing they were not going to be an easy team. When the Bills played them on John McCain just reports the Texans fired Lovie Smith. So there's the first one. He's been in Houston football, little bit covering the Titans too when they moved from the Oilers to Tennessee. So Lovie Smith is the first guy down, the first casualty. So Good for them. Good for the Seahawks, though. Good for the Seahawks. I don't root for guys getting fired. Yep. So Houston just put out a press release. Thank you, Coach Lovey. So he's been fired. That's a good quote, Doug. I like that quote. And the playoffs are set. Seahawks versus the 49ers, Giants, Vikings, Cowboys, Tampa Bay. Yeah, you gotta believe that, Doug. That's not a shock at all. That's like the Colts losing to Houston. That's wild. Like of all the, what a disaster that whole Colts situation turned out to be. And that was a team, give the Bills fits. Saturday, that owner, all the stuff that happened. So let's see what the playoffs, the playoff schedule looks like. I'm just patiently waiting to see it, just like you guys. Wow. Aaron just walking up the tunnel with Randall Cobb. That's, say it's a real scene, but that's a small, much smaller. It's a smaller town than Buffalo. Argue it's much smaller. Yeah, that's pretty wild. But you got to be happy for the Lions. They've been through hell. I don't think they're playing Saturday, Eric. I don't think they're playing Saturday. Not after this week. Not after they're the 2 seed in the they're going to be. I believe there'll be a Sunday game, either from 4:30 all the way up into the Monday night game. Yeah, I put that on Twitter, Johnny. Yeah, Dan Campbell's, and you know what? I'll give Goff a lot of credit too. Goff, a lot of people wrote him off and said that, he was just a gumshoe guy, a guy that was just there, caretaker. But he gave the Bills all that they could handle, and he's played very, very well for them. They've drafted well. I think they have 2 first-round picks coming up. Hutchinson's been an impact player. The kid Williams is a fucking speed merchant. They have a very nice offensive line. I definitely see them Cowboys against Brady in prime time. That I definitely could see that. And boy, did the Cowboys look well. The Cowboys and Dak look like utter shit. But it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. You see these quarterbacks, they get old, and they're kind of walking away. And I've seen the end of so many. Who knows when Brady's last time on the field is going to be. Marino's last time was in Jacksonville, getting blown out 62 to like 10. Joe Montana's last was on the Rich Stadium, turf, leaving with a concussion after a Bruce Smith sack. John Elway's was in the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning was just barely throwing 10-yard, 12-yard passes in a one of the worst Super Bowl performances a quarterback could have. But when you see those guys on their last legs, and it's a surreal thing to watch. It could be, man. He looks like the kind of guy. Take care outside. Have a good one, bro. Thank you. Go Bills, bro. Always. Yeah, it does, Johnny. Like he just, all this, yeah, Stafford can make these crazy throws and all this other stuff. And, that's nice, but he's older. He's more hurt. He's just as expensive. He cost them a bunch of, F them. That's the whole F them picks thing started. And, now that looks like a situation that's coming down. So there's that. Lovie Smith fired by the Texans. And are they gonna Oh, so they're gonna put them here. Nobody's leaked it yet, so Buffalo, 1:00 Sunday, guys. Sunday at 1. Sunday at 1, guys. A traditional game. Buffalo, Sunday at 1. Giants, 4:30. Baltimore, prime time. Sunday. And Monday, Tom versus the Cowboys. Saturday is San Fran, Seattle, Chargers and Jacksonville. Sunday at 1. Well, if Cook can get some more burn, could have something similar, but 1:00, huh? That's good. Hopefully the weather permits. So how do you guys feel about that? You feeling comfortable? You feeling violent? I hope Baltimore wins too. It doesn't matter anymore, but it's fun to. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, that's Sunday at 1, just a normal Sunday at 1 game. So that's kind of cool. Just have a actual conventional week. From Sunday at 1 till Sunday at 1. It's not a Saturday night game. It's not a Sunday night game. It's not a Saturday game. It's not a Monday game, because I hope it's cold. I hope it's I hope it's uncomfortable for them. That's for sure. That's all I hope. Hope it's uncomfortable for them. So Sunday's supposed to be nice too. It's supposed to be some sun. It's supposed to be a low of 18, a high of 30. Not much chance of precipitation. Cloudy. Yeah, there's supposed to be some sun, so hopefully that's a good game. Yeah, they don't know a regular week, Tim. It's like the week is just like some. It's either rescheduled. It's just. Let me just take a quick picture, guys. Sorry. Playoff bracket, sending it to a friend. I don't think they've had that. Just have a normal week, right? A normal week. That's all I want, Eric. That's all I want. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the roster. If they tweak it at all, like in terms of just what they have. Does Kumaro start practicing? Does Crowder start practicing? Do they sign John Brown to the or Cole Beasley to the regular roster? They're carrying 10 offensive linemen, 11 DBs. Do they what do they do? Because now they have unlimited activations though, so they can activate Beasley as many times they want, John Brown as many times they want. So I think that those guys will stay put on the practice squad. But in terms of the, I don't know about the I don't see any of the other guys coming back, because they've been practicing, but not practicing. They've been working off to the side. They haven't practiced. They haven't played in a regular game. Maybe Kumaro, because he's covering kicks. He's not really playing offense as much, but we'll see. I kind of like that they have just a normal week, just a normal week of prep. Just a normal regular week. A conventional Sunday to Sunday. Yeah, I was kind of I kind of figured though with the New York market, Doug, the New York market, they want that in a regular slot. You got it. Yeah, you were just one off, but everything else was pretty good. We'll see how they do. We'll see how they that's going to be, I think they'll benefit from that. They really will, because it's been either they're preparing for a Sunday night game, a Monday night game, um just scheduling. I don't think they've had to, like, Monday at 1 o'clock where it was like, in Chicago, it was crazy. Yeah, Eric, I think they'll constantly try to talk to her. I just don't see any way they're running him out there. Nah, I don't see that at all. He got cut from, and he made it through the game just fine. So I don't see him getting picked up at all, because we have Brandon Bryant, and he's played very, very well for us when he's been asked to. So if that's a situation that they'll need him, they can use him. I don't see a guy like Butler coming back under any circumstances. Yeah, Brandon Bryant's been more than serviceable, and I think they can call up as many as two. So they've got. Friends telling me. Yeah, I just don't think, and that's another thing too. I think they know, like, the league knows, like, okay, this kid's not getting out there. I think if Tua was playing, I think you would see the Bills in the 4 o'clock spot, or possibly the Sunday night spot. But I just don't think that. Again, I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think they're risking him that situation whatsoever. I've said it a million times. I think Lamar is definitely playing. I think Lamar is definitely going to play. Yeah, he's on practice squad IR. They could take him off, I guess. Micah Hyde, I don't know. That's a tough situation with the neck and stuff. I mean, was it 3 or 4, Tim? I'm not sure. They played like the opener, Thanksgiving, and the Patriots, right? So that's a lot of. We'll hold a press conference in Waco. Okay, so Who's gonna take that job? Eesh. Rise and shine. Yep, right away. Deleted. The curse of Matt Patricia continues to haunt the Lions. That's hilarious. Sorry, I'm just reading some of the tweets people are putting out. Yeah, that's that, hopefully they get a win. We can just kick back and watch the rest of the, 3 games in peace. You know what I mean? Thank you for everybody who's in here. I mean, 19 people. I appreciate it. Let me read some of your comments, guys. Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, that should be a good game. I mean, it'll be a nice game to watch, on a Saturday. There are a couple of good games on a Saturday. That Seattle 49er game will be interesting too. Because Seattle, they're a scrappy team, and they're just playing with house money right now, and those are the most dangerous teams when they get into the playoffs, and they just and Pete Carroll's a wild card too. So when you get into the one and done tournament, anything could happen. Hyde hasn't been able to. Yeah, I just don't think they're going to risk the neck. Yeah, like Kirk Cousins. It's Kummero's probably the most likely. Yeah, they're not going to sign anybody, but they do have 10 extra linemen. They have 10 linemen. They have kind of like they're carrying 7 linebackers. So there's little spots they can move guys. Here and there. There's things that they can do. Yeah, they weren't him. They were just he can run pretty damn well. I mean, he's an excellent gunner, so he can run well. But he's got that ankle. He had that high ankle, then he had it again. I mean, who are you going to sign? You're not signing anybody this time, Josh. Let me I'm going to turn off the TV now. It's too much noise. I've been watching it pretty much, not all day, but for most of the day. So injuries. And you're bringing in a guy like that is either not healthy, doesn't know your system. Oh God, yeah, that was what's impressive though? Go watch him, like he's like celebrating with Hines on the second kickoff return, and he literally catches him with ease. Like he runs past all the Patriots, and he's just kind of like, "Hey, I'm here to celebrate with you." That guy can still fucking run. Like he may be 30, 33, 34, whatever years old. That guy can still run like really, really good. I mean, let's see them get past the wild card round first, Josh. That's the most important thing. Let's get there first. Still got a game to play. Still have a team that's live and dangerous. So nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. Just read some of the comments, guys. This one guy is super annoying. I'm sorry. Everything out of this guy's mouth is a complaint. Just reading some of the comments, guys. Seahawks trade Russell Wilson and get 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 3 players, and still make the playoffs. That's good business. That's pretty damn good business. And that's another thing too. Going back to the Bills, they win and they get to host another game. They're not going to go on the road. They can host another game. What's up, Trevor? How you doing, bro? Yeah, dude. That's just a fucking. It's just this Bills season, bro. It couldn't be easy, right? They just had to do that at the. Granted, that drive ends with the Milano interception, but I just it's like this game. Bills up, they roll up 3 change on offense, score 21 points. Allen throws 3 touchdowns, but they turn over the ball once in their end, takes at least 3 points off the board before half. They give up, they turn over the ball, in the shadow of their end zone on a fumble. They give up a field goal. Just 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. So there's 4 possessions right there where the offense isn't on the field. Granted, those are 2 touchdowns, so I'm not, kickoff returns. Offense doesn't even need to touch the field. Underlying thing from today's game is that the team looked like it came out pretty healthy. I didn't see a guy limp off. I didn't see a guy have to, if it happened, it was during the commercial break. I saw several Patriots have to, get assisted off and get looked at and stuff. Judon, Duggar, Connor McDermott. I think their one guard got hurt also. So they had some guys get dinged, but I didn't see any Bills really, which no, wait, Spencer Brown had that one little play and then he was right back on the field for the next play because they went to the 2-minute warning, I believe. Yeah, he looks like he's getting back to it. Oh, I didn't see that, Alan. I didn't see that happen. That's not good. Not good for them. You think Darnold will be the backup quarterback next year? Taiwan will probably be back for special teams. Nah, I don't see either. The Bills aren't spending money on those backs. They're not spending money on those 2 guys. Barkley probably staying with the Giants, and Bills aren't spending money on a back. They'll just draft another kid, and they'll have Cook split time with him. Yeah, he came back right in the next play, Doug, like you said. They look like they were connected pretty well today. Well, they threw in some wrinkles, some play action wrinkles. The way Romo was commentating the game, they said that they were just doing some things that they haven't, they had settled into some things. Again, it was hard for the Bills, I think, to play this game early on psychologically, from a physicality standpoint, just the emotions, just everything that went into this week in this game. And, it was a relief, for all of us when you find out, okay, the kid's awake, he's breathing, he's not assisted breathing anymore. He's alert. He's using his his Instagram. He's using social media. He didn't have his chest cut open. He didn't have any sort of issues like that, which, he's not on a respirator. It's just, because you have all these crazy visions, with when somebody has something like this. But I think that just gave them peace of mind. I mean, they had one legit practice all week. You're coming in off that game on a short week. You have one practice, and they kind of look like it. They look like a team that had one practice all week. Now they're going into a week that hopefully is a lot more normal. It's a playoff week. You're gonna get a game where you've have tremendous familiarity with this team. You've game planned for them twice. Last time you played them was the same place you're going to play them again. So hopefully, you get it. See what you. Yeah, you don't need to spend money on that position. Yeah, Buffalo, you gotta. The mentality. It's hard. It's not easy. But so this week's a lot. It's a lot better. It's not an unfamiliar opponent. It's a familiar opponent. Um, no, no, they can't. And I think he got injured. He left the game injured. I don't know how if it's a long-term injury. But I know he left the game injured. Wilson played most of the game. I think they lost a lineman in that game also. They had another one that was playing for them because of Armstead's injury. I think Greg Little was their left tackle. Uh, I don't know I didn't know Waddle left the game. I know Hill was really not playing much. He ran some go routes for them. I saw Quincy Williams covering him on one. He actually kept up with him, which was insane. So maybe he's not running full throttle, but also the offense is being run by, Skylar Thompson. So it's not going to be the most well-oiled machine. I would like that. I would like that, Josh. Trust me. I'd like to see a nice, relaxing, 28-point beat down, and we can all just sit there again like this with our feet up and enjoy a nice, relaxing Sunday. Just reading some of the. I swear, Twitter can be a cesspool. Nothing shocks me though. But if they can get up on them, especially with their quarterback situation being the way it is, and you get that defense, not the most stout defense in the world. I mean, their offense today wasn't some, if they're going to roll into Buffalo with this kid, they should be able, the Bills should be able to take advantage of them, even if it's with Bridgewater. They should be able to take advantage of it very, very well. Very, very well. Mike Florio, there's a growing sense that he will step down. My understanding is it's not because of burnout. He wants to get into TV. He won a Super Bowl, and now he's facing a multi-year rebuild that he doesn't want to be a part of. But he agreed to it. What did he think was going to happen? Let's see. That looks like the only situation now. I mean, there's probably some more that'll just come up overnight, maybe tomorrow morning, during the day when these owners and these GMs and everybody starts sitting down and having conversations, and maybe they won't agree on certain things. I remember, there's been a few situations where coaches were asked to fire some people and they didn't want to, so they resigned. His ribs, he had 5 broken ribs, Tim. He had 5 broken ribs. I mean, they ran the guy out there last week, and that guy was in bad, bad shape. Let me read some of your comments, guys. I think they'll maneuver some money, Trek, but I don't think they'll do something that big, that seismic. No, they have talent. I mean, they're a very talented team. I mean, Hill and Waddle. I mean, you don't get more. I don't think you could get more athletic, more fast, dynamic wide receivers as a pairing. And then Gesicki, he emerged this week and he had a big catch for them. I don't know if you guys watched the game. He had a big catch right over the safety, and the safety got his hand on it. He still caught it. Wilson's a tough runner. I mean, they've just had a crazy situation, and with Tua, his history, probably had 3 concussions this year. The whole situation with Hamlin and his situation, and they're not separate. The league is going to look at it and look, we don't want to face a firestorm here where this kid got pushed out onto the field because the team's in a playoff. His history, oh, well, he cleared our protocol. Well, then, they don't want to be in some Senate oversight committee like MLB was with steroids. You know what I mean? Like, what is your protocol? What is your process? What do you do and don't do? And it's like, everybody's going to be like, blah, blah, blah. You know how the NFL can look stupid? They'll look really stupid. There's no way they're running out that kid in the playoffs. They're just not doing it. That was nice. Let's go, Buffalo. Very, very nice. Yeah, take your time, Doug. Put it in the room when you get a chance, bro. Thank you. You're my money man for that. I mean, if they, good for them. They made the playoffs, Do I think Salah get fired? I think it's possible. I don't think he's as a lock to stay as some people think. I don't think it's a lock he leaves. I know that's kind of hedging, but I mean, you just can't say that, you're on the edge of a 6-game, you're, 6-game, just 7-4, and then your team loses 6 games in a row. They failed to score a touchdown in 3 straight games in the modern NFL to finish the year. That's pretty crazy. They're going to definitely draft some linemen. That's for sure, Trevor. Although their line played pretty solid today, I will say that. I was trying to see something. Oh, here we go. So we got the first 18 picks locked up for the draft. Chicago gets the first pick. They're not going to use it on a quarterback. I don't care what clickbait Mike Tannenbaum tweets. Houston's 2, Arizona's 3. Indianapolis is 4th. They're probably going to draft a quarterback. Seattle is 5th. They could maybe draft a quarterback. Detroit's going to draft 6 overall, and they have a very talented football team. Very talented team. And I'm not just saying that. That team is uber talented. Thanks, Doug. I'm going to watch it now. Ooh. Did he go back in the game at all? Kind of coming across. Yeah, so late in the game. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, it happened super, super late. I don't think Derek Carr is meant for this. What's up, Matt? How you doing, bro? I don't think Derek is good for this environment, this media market, bro. He's a very well spoken guy, soft spoken guy. The Raiders 7th, Atlanta 8th. Atlanta now they're in a weird spot. Tampa Bay didn't need the game, but still Atlanta's kind of in nowhere land. Nowhere at quarterback. The head coach kind of seems just like a guy. The Eagles, Panthers 10th. That's kind of a weird spot too. It's not high enough to get the quarterback you might want or need, but there's really no quarterback. The Eagles, that's a very good spot. 10th. I mean, best record in the NFL. I mean, shit. Tennessee, 11th. Wow. Houston, 12th from Cleveland. The Jets, 13th. The Patriots, 14th. The Packers, 15th. The Commanders, 16th. Steelers, 17th. Hats off to Mike fucking Tomlin. Who would have thought after all that they've been through, 9-8, never finished under 500 as a head coach? Are they, Trevor? Really? Holy shit. Always a lot of quarterback shuffling, Doug. That it's going to be the whole thing for next season is going to be uh crap for Caleb. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be crap for Caleb because everybody, anybody who's quarterback needy is going to want that kid. What do I make of Russell Wilson? I have no clue, man. Some guys just find the cliff quicker than others. Maybe, Seattle, that was just the perfect place for him. And it just went stale there. I got to a point where I felt bad for him because it was so easy to beat on him and whip on him and just talk shit about him. Lions pick 18th. Wow. Think about this. You're a really good football team. Lions are a good team. And I know they had some stinkers. Like they had a stinker against the Panthers. Think about that. If they win that Panther game, the Panthers, they're in the playoffs. And they gave the Bills hell, but they draft 6th and they draft 18th. They could do some serious. I mean, I'll give Brad Holmes, and I'll give a guy who got a lot of shit, Dan Campbell, a lot of credit for what they've done there so far because they didn't inherit an easy situation, and they've done excellent. Excellent. Couldn't say more good things about them. How you doing, Steven? Welcome from Germany. Man, you're a soldier getting up from there, man. You're in Cologne, right? Yeah, that's a charter team, man. That's one of the charter franchises. What is it? 1950? They haven't won they've only won one playoff game since like 1950 or some crazy shit like that. Something I don't know what it is. It's some crazy stat since 1950. Oh, what an idiot. I mean, we talked about that earlier, Matt. That what a dumb kid. No, I remembered, bro. Because remember when I said Stuttgart's the last time? I also named another town in Germany, but you got it. And then you told me Cologne. With all those drops, Trevor, shit, his completion percentage would be like 67%, probably a few more touchdowns. The turnovers in the red zone were not good. That's on him. He's got to do better there. A lot better. He's got to know better. He's not a rookie anymore. He doesn't get that pass anymore. I'm trying to look at some of the if there's anything new. Nothing really. Read some of your comments, guys. Yeah, dude. I mean, imagine having a quarterback like that after all the years of shit that we went through. That's great numbers. I mean, 4 straight years, 4,000 plus yards, 3 straight years, 30 plus touchdowns, 30, 350 completions. The guy has been tremendous. He's been tremendous, and he's an excellent leader, tough as nails. People that really watch know that he's a physical freak. The Bills put a lot on his plate, from managing the game, from knowing the offense, having full field reads, being all over the place. He has tons of hard. I mean, there's sometimes he chooses to throw the hard, make the hard throws. There was a few layups he had. I mean, even the one where he threw the touchdown, he had Cook wide open, and he was telling Smoke to go, go, go. I'm throwing it to you, motherfucker. I mean, he wasn't taking the check down. Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy because those INTs like today, it's avoidable, you know. Just take the sack there. Take the sack, kick the field goal. That's fine. You know what I mean? The one in Chicago, I mean, it's cold, the ball sails on him. The one where the safety bails, he kind of forces that ball to the smallest receivers, maybe the smallest guy on the field with McKenzie. The two Green Bay, those are gifts. The two against the Jets were gifts. Yeah, I mean, receivers really haven't had to work for the picks. Yeah, that was like a 20-yard, 20 touchdowns was like a dream. Yeah, they were, dude. They were trying to break it. They were really trying to break it. When Allen had the long one that turned out to be Davis, and then he dropped it. I thought that was Diggs, but they were really trying to get it to him to get him to 12. Yeah, but it's he's not going to get it. There's going to be other guys that are going to get it. You're because nobody's going to really look at these national writers and these people don't care about all the stuff the Bills has been through. It's great for stories and it's great for content, but at the end of the day, they're going to look at Daboll, who had no expectations with the Giants, and a quarterback like Daniel Jones, who had no expectations, and being able to get things right there. So I think he's likely. You got Philly. It's just these writers and these people that really control these votes and can sway votes. I mean, what do the Bills have? They have how many guys cover the team, and girls, women. Um, One ESPN writer. They have one. Yeah, just they had a bunch of national people there because of the Hamlin situation, but it's what, six to seven locals, um, one national. So on any given day, they have no more than 10 to 12 people in the media room. When you go to the Giants or you're here with the Jets, like tomorrow, since at the end of the season, they're going to have fucking 40 people in there. For one team that's not even going to go to the playoffs, they're going to have 40 people. The Giants, playoffs for the first time in 6 seasons, he's going to have 40 plus people in there, and yeah, Trevor, but it was a few things early on in that game, we talked about earlier in here, in the moment, you kind of gloss over them, but what Hayden Hurst did to Taron Johnson on that cleanup on the ground, and Trey Hendricks with the leg whip and the roll up on the ankle, that those were kind of sketchy. What's up, Crazy? How you doing, bro? I've been good, man. Good. Go Bills. I'm feeling young. Well, three. Well, with those rushing yards, yeah. Somebody put the Hendricks and could somebody put the Hendricks and roll up on in there for Trevor? All been working, man. I mean, and you'll see like Allen's throwing a pass out to the left. Hendricks realizes he's not going to get to him. He gets pushed. And then he just, does like a gator roll and then like throws his legs up in the air, hits Allen in the balls, and his body rolls up and hits Allen's ankles, rolls up, and you see Allen kind of jump. It was on the injury report with a little bit of an ankle, but he practiced in full, so it didn't really hold him back. Let me see if there's anything. A lot of people are tweeting stuff. I just don't know if it's pertinent. Read some of your comments, guys. Aaron Rodgers versus the Lions this year. 40 for 70, 2 TDs, 4 INTs, 2 losses. Wow. Is that the real Joe Krebs? It must be. Holy shit, it is. Let me read some of your comments, guys. Nothing new. No, I don't see that happening crazy at all. There's no way they're going to let that kid play. Watch that, Trevor. Yeah, watch Doug put a link in the room. That's the one he rolled. You too, man. Have a good one out there. It's supposed to be nice. I saw Sal put something similar, but I was looking. I checked the weather channel, weather.com, and just what the app puts out. That's pretty good. It's pretty damn accurate these days. Especially with that whole belt they have there. So the following days and the preceding days look decent. So it should, it looks like it should be a good day. There's really there's supposed to be snow that Friday, but it doesn't look like it's supposed to be anything, crazy. That's just me being able to sit and say it here in North New Jersey. What the hell kind of weather am I going to get? Oh, a bunch of shitty rain. Great. Lovely. Oh, I got a curb stomping them in the ground. Yeah, Trevor, that's like there was that, and then there was I don't know, did you see the one Hayden Hurst after the, Taryn left with a head injury? Did you see that one? Oh, I hope so too, man. But I know the media, going back to the Miami thing, I think the media is really going to be pushing McDaniels on what is to it. There's no way. They can't push that and then claim they care about his safety because that's just that they're playing with fire with that situation. They're really playing with fire because you can't claim to be advocates for safety and this and that, and then bang on about a coach wanting to roll a kid out there with those type of head injuries. And everybody knows, everybody knows he had a concussion against the Bills the first time. Nobody even knew he had a concussion against the Packers until, everybody wants to say it was a 3 picks, but, he probably had delayed symptoms. He woke up, couldn't remember things, had a headache. They just, from an optic standpoint, a league standpoint, there's just no way. The blowback that would happen would be too seismic. it's too seismic. They could be dumb all they want. They don't want the shitstorm that could come with that. And that is worse than you could ever imagine. Because everything that happened with him this year, Hamlin this last week, and I'll give the defense a bit of a pass for what happened today. Their heads were all over the place probably. They didn't look it's not that they looked tentative early. They were just playing very off. There wasn't a lot of tight coverage. The coverage got tighter as the game went on. There was more contested balls. There was more tip passes, and we saw interceptions. Trey made a nice play on the ball. The ones over the middle where, finally you see, Edmonds make a play, a splash play. Milano, gets a tip, returns it. That's a good thing to see. I don't think they're going to get the chance, Steve. I just don't think he's playing. Yeah, he made the sack. There was one other play. I think it was Edmonds came bursting through the middle. I thought Jones had an intentional grounding because he just dirted the ball. He's going to try to say he was throwing it to Harris, who was blocking. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, your dude was engaged with a block. People get sick, bro. I mean, I know I would be. I know I would be sick. I would definitely end up being sick that day. Well, he's going to be playing on special teams. Dean Marlowe was the other safety. I mean, if that gets you out of it, if that gets you out of work, fuck it. For a Bills playoff game, shit. I think another indication, I don't think the league knows things. They don't ever put out things. There's a lot of stuff that they play close to the vest. I mean, I was not going to come on here. That the one thing that I'll say, and I really wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say it now because we're all cool with each other and we say whatever's on our mind. I didn't like how some of the media, it was like they were trying to make the story about them with Hamlin. Everybody just like gushing and fawning over Scott Van Pelt and Ryan Clark's monologue or soliloquy about the incident and all this stuff. Like, look, this is going to be taught in journalism classes. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. All right, really? You're gonna give your buddies plugs? Really? This is I just didn't like that, and wasn't gonna come on like some people probably. I don't know if other Bills streamers streamed or opened up rooms, but there was no way in hell I was going to do that on that night. Or I said, the only way I'm going to go back on, I'm going to go back on after the Bills game, on Sunday, hopefully after a win. Yeah, just sickening, Doug. I just didn't have this. I'm like, are you really guys going to really do this? You're really going to do this? Like, it was just, there was a few other things too. Like Dan Orlovsky, like, I have no problem with religion. I'm not anti-religion, but the whole Dan Orlovsky doing the live prayer thing, I was just like, Really? I mean, like, they're just a lot of fucking I'm sorry, there's a lot of shameless bad actors. Like, scrupulous motherfuckers, man. There's nothing that's sacred to them. Like, nothing. There's nothing that goes unscathed with some of these people. Yeah, I was a little surprised too, Doug. I hope he plays this week. I really do. I hope he plays. It is probably all for the clicks. I mean, if the thing is the media is just so dirty. If it is genuine, like how the hell can you tell? You know? How the hell can you tell? I'm just seeing some Bills posts here. It was good to see them on the field. It was good to see them running around. No, I don't watch any ESPN stuff. I don't know if that's an ESPN show. I just don't think I would ever watch. I don't think any of us would have came in. Yeah, there's no way I was gonna. Not a chance in hell. I don't think their offense was good last year, and they played a pull 17 games last year, and he was only one touchdown. He had the same amount of touchdowns. He had the same amount of touchdowns as this year and last year. He had one fewer interception. Granted, he played one fewer game. The offense was good. Yeah, I mean, Skip Bayless, people are gonna, people were looking for somebody to be mad at, bitch at. They wanted to find a guy to be mad at. He was their guy that and then they got to make that beef between him and Shannon Sharp. And it's just like, come on, you guys, more acting. Like they're not in production meetings. Like they don't sit there with they got their earpieces in with their program director the whole time. They know exactly what they're doing. Nothing these people do is not rehearsed, not rehearsed and fully genuine. I don't think a damn thing is at a certain point. One turnover. He only had the one interception. Motor had the fumble, and Taiwan Jones touched the punt, and he got charged with a fumble. Yeah, well, it's probably an accumulative effect with Skip, but you know what? He makes people pissed, so his bosses are going to keep him around. That's just the way it works. Yeah, it's 30 and 30, bro. Crazy. It's 30 turnovers created, 30 given away. They have to clean that shit up, man. It's been killing him all fucking year. I'm reading that. Funny, Steve. Sorry. Trying to up their own profile and get more money. Yeah, it was nice to see him. It was nice to see that he could still move. That's what it was nice. It's like, okay, you bring this guy on to stretch the field. Yeah, so much for there was the whole I forgot to add that too. There was that whole Odell Beckham Jr. tour that never came to fruition. That just crazy. That just makes me not want the guy. You know, around either. It just like, dude, like I don't want to sign you next year. I don't want to sign you this. I don't want you around. Like, first of all, he's not going to come in and be as up to code as Beasley or Brown would be, know the offense or at all. No, thank you. Like he just seemed like a crumb snatcher. He just want to come in and get a cheap ring. I don't want a guy. I don't want a mercenary like that. Well, hopefully 2 weeks in a row, man. Hopefully it's 3 weeks in a row. Hopefully it's that. Yeah, I seen like that's the thing about Kumaro. Kumaro will play on offense. Like you'll see him get burned on offense, and Allen will throw him the ball. Like, and he's a big receiver. He's arguably our biggest receiver, and he plays a lot of special teams. And he's one of our better blocking wide receivers too. So the one person I would think, the one person that might would be Kumaro. And he started on the other side of the field, Trevor. They dragged him all the way, and then he turned. And then when Allen went like this, he turned it up, and then touchdown. Yeah, that shit was on the money, Trevor. I think he was shocked that the pass didn't get touched. Like he didn't realize he was going to have such a clean look in. And you know, Davis is a good kid. He works hard. You know, I know he's made a ton of big plays for this team, and he's going to make some more big plays. So I don't want to ride him too much, but you got to see him make those plays, though. You got to see him make those plays. Maybe he's just being too hard on himself and he's not relaxing, but we know what he's capable of. You know, he's not even, it's crazy. It feels like, you know what's crazy about Davis? A guy like Davis, he feels like he's been there forever. And he's like 23. He's barely 23 years old. Nah, I don't think they're going to re-sign Singletary. Nothing would shock me, but nothing. I just don't think they're going to resign him. I think they want a bigger, more physical running back to pair with Cook, and somebody that's got more juice, more ability to break a long one, more pop behind their pads in terms of size. That can, you know, and Motor has decent physicality. He's produced some physical runs for the Bills, but I'm talking about a guy who can, you know, can move piles. And you know, like the kid for Detroit tonight, the Williams kid. You know, there's plenty of, this is a good running back draft too. So yeah, Beasley's definitely going to be up. He's definitely going to be up next week. Beasley could be up. Brown could be up also because you have unlimited elevations. No, we just want him to do well, Matt. That's all. That's all. We just want him to do well. But he plays a lot of roles for them, though. He wears a lot of hats, Steve. You know that. Like he plays a special teams role. He plays, you know, plays outside. He plays inside. He blocks for them. He does a lot of different things. And Allen's comfortable throwing him the ball. So he had the one long one against Tennessee early in the year. I'm sure he'll be on the jugs machine, bro. You ever see the thing Knox does, that crazy tennis ball drill? He does that crazy tennis ball thing. You know what? A thing that kind of went unnoticed today. Dawson Knox. This is crazy. This is a crazy stat. This is a really crazy thing to think about. Dawson Knox, right? Didn't at all. For the life of me, I don't know. I remember when the Bills drafted him, and I was kind of like thinking, like, how the hell are you going to draft a guy like this? But you know, you see the athleticism, right? You see the athleticism. Not one touchdown reception in college. Today, he tied Jay Remersma for the second most touchdowns in Bills history by a tight end. He's, I think, 4 or 5 away from Pete Metzelaars, and he signed a 4-year contract. You know he's going to break it. And if you add up all his touchdowns with postseason, regular season, he's only two away from Pete Metzelaars. Pete Metzelaars only had 1 receiving touchdown in the postseason for the Bills. Dawson Knox has 24 total, and he's got the postseason staring down the barrel. So it's pretty incredible when you think about it. His blocking is what's really, really gotten, and his consistency as a receiver. You know, is the one thing that's really, because people don't realize when he plays, he's not just a route runner. He does a lot of work, just setting the edge and blocking and just making sure Allen's protected. He does leak out upon occasion. He does run routes, but he's heavily targeted in the red zone, and he's very, very consistent. Very, very consistent. Yeah, again, I just think, he'll is just such a young player, and I think it just takes time, and I think he'll get better, Steve, as time goes on. Sweeney is just a body. Yeah, he's just he's one of the boys. I swear, Bills fans hate everybody at some point. It always ends up being like, I'll say they'll hate, like, they always have whipping boys. Like, I think and you know what? I swear to God, the Bills know who the whipping boys are. Um, Zach Moss became a whipping boy. Cody Ford became the whipping boy. Um, Zay Jones was a bit of a whipping boy. Um, there's just been certain people who get that, and they just never can shake it. Never can shake it. Once you get it, you get it. There's some guys, there's some guys who have, but not many. There's just certain people like Dane Jackson. Dane Jackson was, again, okay, forgot this one. Levi Wallace. Levi Wallace was persona non grata. Isaiah McKenzie, kind of his osh, happy go lucky, laissez faire type of thing. I think gets him, because people don't. Then then you make then he makes the mistake like he makes against the Colts, and it's just such amateur hour Keystone Cops. It becomes a thing that, and then he has the Patriot game that evens it out. This year he has drops when he gets more playing time. So it's kind of one of those situations where they're always going to have their dude that they just, here comes their little, you know, the proverbial whip. I think he's just a nice player. That's all. He's just a nice player. Like, he's a nice little player. He's never going to be great. He's okay to good at times, but that's all you're going to get from him. You know what I mean? That's it. That's as high as it goes. He's just a nice complimentary role player. If Jackson gave up that TD, oh man, yeah, it was a crazy TD, because it's like he's in good position, but then his momentum just kind of carries himself. He carries himself out of position, and the fact that it was kind of the reason why Trey White got the interception. Shit, it looked like Mac Jones was throwing Trey White the ball, not Nelson Aguilar. Trey White was in better position to catch that ball and put himself in better position. And just, I think Elam as a rookie just doesn't have that savviness and veteran poise. If he just would have, played a little bit slower, he could have either broken it up or made it had a chance for an interception. All right, crazy. Get some sleep, bro. Thanks for contributing, man. I appreciate you. Go Bills. All day, every day, 365. I really hope he's a very steady kid. If Allen throws that one just a shade earlier in the game, that's a touchdown. That'd have been a touchdown. And McCourty just flew in to deflect it, but he's right there, man. He was right there to catch it. I mean, you know what? I really like a kid like him. Really, really easy to root for, because he's just steady. He doesn't complain. Just keeps his head down. Works. Um, doesn't bitch about not getting passes thrown his way, and that's just not the kind of kid they're going to draft. Today, that run after catch showed me something though. That really did. He once he got the ball in his hand, there was a little bit of a different juice that he had, and you saw it right away. He sat down, QB friendly. Homeboy came diving in, missed him, and I think he got what, a good 12 to 15 yards extra on the run. So hopefully, we'll see more of them. And having guys like, it's nice because you have guys like Brown, guys like Beasley there to, even for Davis. Like I said, Davis, it was kind of crazy. I'm talking about Knox because Knox is only 26 years old. But then if you look at a guy like Travis Kelce, who was an old rookie, he was 24. I think he didn't play at all as a rookie. So he basically was a 20, that was a 25-year-old rookie. All his production came after that. And here's Knox, who is a converted quarterback, plays only 2 years of tight end, and he's doing all this. I think there's so much more ahead for him. I think there's just so much more ahead, even for him, at development and getting better. Like, yeah, if you look at Gabe Davis, he just feels like he's been around forever. That's what it is with him. He just feels like he's been around forever. And yeah, he's 23. He had an okay season. He had highest catch rate he's ever had in his career in terms of he runs very deep routes. He runs a lot of comebacks, a lot of goes, plays a lot for them. Tied his career high in touchdowns. So, he battled the ankle a little bit longer than people want to realize, but I still count on him. And Diggs really, it was nice to see with Diggs today. When he ran that go, like you saw the juice he had in his legs. Like that guy can still run. Like he smoked Jonathan Jones. Like it was just bam. Yeah, Shakir has he's got something extra to him as well. And I'd like to see him get involved. But like I was saying earlier, but like me with my ADD, I get really sidetracked. Having Beasley there, having Brown takes pressure off of those other guys like Diggs so they can just focus and like they can kind of like act as coaches too. Like, hey, do a little bit of this. You feel this, do this. Be QB friendly, like just having that, because the thing with a guy like Cole Beasley, he's played quarterback in high school. So he's playing quarterback and wide receiver in his mind at the same time. He knows how to make himself QB friendly to Josh. He doesn't even have to think about it. He was another whipping boy too. Drops, inconsistencies, injuries. He had that cheap shot from Christian Wilkins early in the year, but then again, who didn't? I thought he killed Knox. I thought he took his head off, but then it ends up Knox because of the back. Last year, he breaks his hand. Was on his way to having a monster year. Still had a very good year. I think when he missed 2-3 games. The year before, with the COVID, he caught that, had some injuries. People are kind of on the fence about him. Trade that fucker. Cut that fucker. Get Zach Ertz in here, But, he's a guy that they stuck by and he's rewarded them. He's really rewarded them. And that's always good to see, because I think a lot of times there's too many Bills that have been, jettisoned too soon. Or maybe, they just didn't hang around and they played better ball elsewhere because the situation was better, obviously, with the quarterback and everything. But, another byproduct of this whole weekend, you see what's going on in Miami with Tua and just having him on and off the field when maybe he shouldn't have been. And then you see with the Jets, Mike White's got 5 cracked ribs. Broken ribs, torn rib cartilage, and they're running him out there in Seattle. Then they don't play him at all this week after he missed 2 weeks before. And then all their other situations that are, I've talked about here. And then with New England, with what happened with Jake Bailey and the other kid, Jack Jones, they just kind of suspended them for not doing treatment or whatever. Like, and not just because they're winning and their quarterback situation. If you look at it, I'm going to sound like a homer. The Bills on the scope are still a lot more of a desirable place to go play than any one of those organizations because of what happened this week. And it's not just what happened with Hamlin. The Bills take care of their players. The Bills 100% take care of their guys. If they don't feel like the guy can go out there and play and protect himself, and it's about protecting himself. And if he can't protect himself, he can't play. And then he's either going to get himself hurt and somebody else, and they're just not going to have that. He definitely did, Steve. He when he turned it on to go get that ball, that's what impressed me. I'm like, okay, he still has it. But the Bills definitely keep their guys fresh. They keep their guys. They don't put their guys in any kind of physically compromising positions on the field at all. They make sure they're good. And if it means not playing them a week here or there, they do it. And they roll with the guys that they have, with the next man up mentality, and they make the best of it. And they have. 13-3 with 1 no contest. I know it sucks. I wish, maybe Cincinnati wins that game. They were up 7-3. I would just like to have seen it play out on the field, win, lose, or draw, but it didn't get to play out that way. But I do know, from the grand scope of things, there's going to be players that be like, I want to go there. They take care of their guys. They're going to take care of me. They're not going to put me in harm's way, and they'll keep me healthy. And if I'm not 100%, they're not going to try to force me on the field. So that's a desirable place. So yeah, man. So today, again, the first half with the secondary, it's 12:40 here. I'm going to go on for another few minutes, and then I'm going to rewatch the game. Bubba, what are you doing? He's still waiting for his treats. He hasn't got them yet. But they really played a lot of off coverage, nothing tight. I don't know why. Even the Patriots post game was saying that's like they watched the first half and they were like, wow, they were making Mac look like a surgeon out there. Like I was like, is the Bills going to cover anybody? There's nobody with. I think mentally it was a hell of a week. I can't imagine. Mentally it was one hell of a week. Trey said, this was a shit show here. People wanting interviews and all this other different types of stuff for, this, and we're trying to get ourselves right. It must have been fucking damn near impossible. Yeah, like I would rather have DeMar and a loss than not have DeMar and this, or whatever. Win, tie, whatever, I would just, but nobody could have, seen that on the bingo board. That's for sure. Yeah. 3 picks today, man. Should have had 1 last game with Poyer, but I don't know how that was called back. But again, they were dangerous. They were coming in, playing for their playoff lives. They were, trying to throw everything but the kitchen sink at the Bills, different little things that they were doing, for a lot of their media people. They say they played their best game, of the year, but they're still not in the Bills class, which is crazy. Do you think we might insert? Nah, I don't think that. I think they've gone this far, Steve. I don't think that's. And Booker was inactive. Could he be active this week? Maybe. Who knows? He was active for the Bears. He was inactive for Cincinnati. He was inactive. The way I look at the Cincinnati game, sans the horrible situation with Hamlin, it was almost like a bye week. They're on the field. They go there. that whole thing unfolds, and then they end up back home. So they play barely a quarter, get back on a plane, come home, have all that happen, get one practice in. Maybe he does. Maybe it's him instead of Van Rotten. I don't know. You never know. You never know what they're. I know that they'll do what they feel is best, and they're not going to put a guy out there, just to put him out there. Change for the sake of change. I think they're going to stay with what they have, though. Yeah, that lasted 1 week, didn't it? Yeah, I mean they're playing with a pretty spotty team. Their offensive line is not the best. I think they've had a ton of different combinations. I think the only really couple of live bodies they have is Atwell, Jefferson, and Akers. It's tough to evaluate, anybody in that situation. It's hard. Fuck them picks. Yep, f them picks. Yep. Enjoy that. I mean, that's going to be a long, long, tough road. That shit doesn't have a long shelf life. And I kind of liked one thing. I liked Joe Burrow's answer, because we hear this with the Bills all the time. Oh, this is a playoff window. This is a Super Bowl window. They got to win now. They got to win now. And then Burrow had the really good answer today. He said, as long as I'm here, my whole career is the window. So that's the window is never going to be closed. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Because you get all these media heads, especially on Bills radio. Oh my God, they're in a playoff window. They got to do it now. They got to do it now. It's like, what? They're not going to be allowed to win. So the Patriots playoff window was basically every year Brady was there. Their Super Bowl window was 20 years. That shit never closed. They found a way to make it work. Peyton Manning. Colts or Broncos. Like, shut up with that shit. Well, they finished 9 points to 21 points in the second half. Bills win. Granted, one was another kickoff return, but those points are all the same. They still count the same. One Super Bowl and fuck everything else. That's what they said. That was a pretty good one. Let me see if I can find the exact quote. Joe Burrow was asked on a potential Bengals window to win after today's game. His response: "The window is my whole career. Our window is always open." There it is. It's stupid. I hate that shit. Oh God, Trevor. Ooh. That Dak attack was in full effect. Yeah, he was. Oof. He couldn't hit the ass end of a barn going south. I mean, he looked like Trent Edwards out there. Like, and that's saying something. He looked like really bad Trent Edwards, like Miami opener of 2010 Trent Edwards. Like, was it Monday night Browns Trent Edwards? He looked really bad. Well, it took Peyton. Actually, it took Peyton a few years to get to the. It took Peyton a while to win his first playoff game, man. I think it took him to like his third or fourth year. It took him. It took him a little bit. Yeah, it's written in the stars, Doug. It really is. It really is. It just It's just I don't know. It's just they don't have that it that it. Yeah, it took him to his 4th year. Like he was 27 when he won his first playoff game, and I think that was against the I want to say that was against the Chiefs or Denver. They actually, yeah, he destroyed Denver, and then he goes and destroys KC, and then he gets destroyed in New England when they changed all those contact rules because they were playing in the mud and everything, and the receivers were getting mugged. So I had a runny nose. Damn it! I hope I'm not catching a cold. Damn it! But yeah, I like that answer from Joe Burrow. That was a really good. I like that. Window close, window this, window that. Oh, just stop. Like everybody's all gonna, the whole team's gonna suck overnight, and then you got to count on everybody else being good at the same time. The whole division. Have they not watched the other teams in this division? Have they never watched how their organizations have operated and functioned? I mean, it's not like they're well-oiled machines. I'll read some of your comments, guys. I felt like they adjusted well. They again, they were not in the right headspace to start the game. They just weren't. That I can attest to. The Cowboys are going to get beat by Pops, and then Stephen A is going to have a field day with Michael Irvin. Says, oh god, I see some clips people post of him, and I just like I shake my head. I really do. It was nice to see them eliminate the Patriots today. That really was nice. That was it was really a joyous thing. I don't think the Bills were good enough to be eliminated by the Patriots, but they were tormented by we all know. I don't have to tell you. I mean, as long as this regime is together, this staff, this quarterback, and they'll be there. Well, they were just mugging them. You remember that, Jake? You know what's crazy? That I remember seeing clips of that game, and then it's just like the instant, like after that game, that's the only talk you heard, whether it was on. I had to listen to a lot of radio then, and it was just like all the receivers were getting, and it was the corners. I want to say was it Ty Law still, and a young Asante Samuel. I want to say it was, but I'm not 100% sure. But it was just like it was just basically like the Colts white uniforms, and it's like Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark, and Marvin Harris just are mud. They're just like all full of mud. And I think one interception is where I think it was Law. He like pushed off, got the pick. It counted. It wasn't a blowout game by any means. It was 14-24. But yeah, he threw like 4 interceptions. It was really just a mud fest. Like, I'm sure you guys can go watch the clips. It was not a well executed, well played game. The Patriots, it was very much the Tom Brady, very steady, very, calm. Like, I'm not going to force anything. There's not going to be any big plays, nothing sexy. Yeah, Antoine Smith had their longest play of the day, 35-yard run. That was it. That was their biggest play of the game. Marcus Pollard was playing for the Colts. He had a 32-yard catch. But that was very much the time they said, "Oh, change all the rules," because everybody turned off the TV. Everybody's like, "Oh, we don't want to watch this. It's just blah." All I just remember was the white uniforms just being full of mud. Pretty much every Colt on the team. Can't judge by the Rams window. They sold off all their draft capital, bought old players. lost a bunch of guys. Well, trading their capital and trading away a quarterback who took them to a Super Bowl for a quarterback. He eventually did win them the Super Bowl, but based on Goff's play now and then the money and the trajectory, they're not that. I mean, obviously Stafford has a more talented arm, but his play didn't show it when they were on the field this year at all. Oh, that's a beautiful thing, Matt. 7-9, 8-9, 7-10 purgatory. Jets too. I mean, they're not a quarterback away. Their defense is good, very good, but they're going to have to start paying people. And I was trying to tell somebody, I wasn't trying to, I was telling them that when you're in I think the window these people talk about is the window of when you have the young quarterback on the rookie deal. When you have and then you have to start paying, you have to be prudent. You have to be smart about who you pay, who you don't pay, who you keep, who you try to trade, move off of. You have to be really calculated, and you have to be cold, because you got to keep that train moving. The thing with the Jets was that's gone now with Zach Wilson. That is gone. That's over. Maybe even with the Patriots, are they going to pay? Are the Dolphins going to pay Tua? Are they going to pick up that fifth-year option with the head injuries? Or that's like the Riddler question. Definitely not happen with the Jets. Who knows if Belichick is there to do it with Jones? Because if he's not, that's not happening. I don't think it would happen anyway. I think there's some petulant acts that kid does, and I don't think Belichick's a fan of that. Tua's injury history, who knows? The whole idea of having that window is having that quarterback on that rookie wage so you can flood the team with talent around them and then forge forward. But the Jets now, it's like, okay, got to pay Quinnen Williams. You got to hope Breece Hall recovers from his knee. Elijah Vera Tucker comes back. You got to hope maybe you could salvage something out of Mekhi Becton, but kid hasn't played in 2 years. You got to hope Sauce stays on his current trajectory because he's going to get a lot of love now. Ahmad Gardner. They're probably going to cut Mosley to pay some people. Quinnen Williams' brother Quincy's a free agent. He's been a very good linebacker for them. So they're going to have to make some moves. Corey Davis is probably going to get released to make some other moves for them. And then they're going to have to bring in a quarterback. You're going to roll in with Mike Effin White and Zach Wilson and reload for 2023. It doesn't have enough teeth. It just doesn't have enough teeth. They're gonna have to, and Woody Johnson is a complete wild card. Like Woody can just walk down the hall in 5 minutes and say he wants to fire everybody. Like that's the kind of guy he is. Like whoever talked to him last is what he's gonna do. So it should be it should be an interesting week at Florham Park, that's for sure. We'll see how it all turns out, but I don't know if they will or they won't, but I think that they'll force his hand, make him. Then if you fire the OC, everybody's got to learn a new system and new terminology and all that sort of stuff, and you know how that merry-go-round goes. What's with Zach? I just don't think the kid's cut out to be here. Like he's a Mormon kid. He lives out, grew up out in a secluded place in Utah, and you come to the Shark Tank and just these vultures are going to just destroy you. And I just don't think the kid, is things are very, he's a well-off kid. Dude, I'll just put it to you this way. Go follow his mother's Instagram. And just think about a kid that was raised by that woman. And that's all you need to know. And then, it's not even Fields. I remember when there was plenty of people that claimed to be draft gurus, draft experts. Daniel Jeremiah being one of them, saying that Zach Wilson was every bit the prospect of Trevor Lawrence, and possibly more accurate, more dynamic. Um, especially the pro day throw and some stuff he did at the combine. It was just like, oh, yeah, everybody, then other quarterbacks were almost mocking it, doing that same crazy spin around throw with shorts on and stuff. It's you can only do so much of that stuff in an NFL game. It doesn't have legs. And that's where they fucked up. Winning that game against the Rams, they lost out on that was the whole point. You lost out on the guy, and that was the guy. They had a chance to get everybody knew who the prize was. It's just the same thing as Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf comes behind him. Everybody knew who the real deal was. The same thing with, I know RG3 had a great rookie year, but it crumbled. It crumbled at the end of the rookie year when he got hurt and they forced him out there. And his knee was even more compromised. He was out there with that big bandage on his knee. It was terrible. And Andrew Luck was the guy. He was the prize. Yep, looked good in shorts. But it's always the guy you know about. It's like this year, no matter what happens next year, right? No matter what happens, everybody knows pretty much it's going to be Caleb Williams is going to be the guy. That's going to be it. That's the one everybody's going for. Somebody's going to try to come up and say it's maybe the May kid from North Carolina or somebody else. Again, he reminds you. But when you get into the league and it's guys in the league, it's different. When you're playing against the best, it's not against Utah State or Utah or one of those Pac-10 teams that have no defense because they don't really play defense in the Pac-10 at all. It's shit's different. She's insane, Matt. The woman is crazy. And if you watch enough, you'll see, she's not well. She just seems like just a woman that has too much money and just suffers from self-importance and just is very overbearing and just this kid's probably never had to do anything hard in his life. And she's probably there telling him, she was that big Instagram post, how Jet fans are miserable. She's probably like, oh, I don't want my little baby getting, yelled at and by these people. He doesn't want to be here. I'm sure he doesn't want to be here. I'm not saying I blame him, but I'm sure he's trying, if his agent wants to work out something, he'll go. Dude, that's the problem is you got to listen to her, Matt. And you're not going to not be able to not listen to her. She runs her mouth. It's awful. She's one of these, she's had work done. You could see it. She's not an all natural. She's had, she's been to the doctor a few times. Let's put it that way. Read if anything's going on, but it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like anything has happened. Doesn't look like any other news has dropped other than Lovie Smith getting fired. Feel sorry. I feel bad for him too. I mean, it's a tough situation, you know, but I just don't think he has the mentality that it takes. You have to like it because you look at the whole Mike White thing, right? The team likes him, but the team doesn't like Matt, like Zach. It's just obvious. Like the t-shirt thing, and the coach made it worse. The coach also like perpetuates it. So it's not like he had his back much, but I'm not saying he's, done himself any favors either. She's probably another one of those same types. Matt, it's one of those same types, same type of like urban moms who's got too much money and too much time on their hands. That's all. And if that's the life they got, I mean, God bless them. I mean, if you see the kid's dad, I mean, I think I'm old enough to be his dad. Yeah, I'm definitely old enough to be his dad. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm old enough to be a lot of these guys' dads now. But all right, guys. Sunday, 1:00. Yeah, me too. Like honestly, that's what I think about Trevor when I see the things that I see, like whether it was Eli Apple's mother here in New York, or Zach Wilson's mom, or Zay Jones' dad, or just tons of different situations. I was just like always like, you know what? I'm glad Josh has none of that shit, because you're always worried about that stuff, right? It's like you've got that piece, like okay, no off the field bullshit. Like you just a good solid family, support the kid, come hell or high water, or that's it. No drama on social media, online. And then also, you want the kid to be good too. And you know how damn hard that is to do. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Squish them, crush them. What's crazy is like this is the second time in a row the Bills, you're going into the playoffs, home playoff game, and it's against a division opponent. You're playing them. This is the third time you played them. It's just like with the Patriots. They had just played the Patriots, I think, 2-3 weeks prior, and then they're facing them again 3 weeks later. And it's for them, it's like they felt like that should have been a revenge game. It was closer, but it didn't turn out to be as close as, they just destroyed them in the playoff game. It just got worse. Yeah, they had played them 3 weeks prior, December 26th, and they played them on January 15th in Orchard Park, and it got worse for them. So it's a similar situation this year. They're going to have played, the Dolphins, but about just a little bit, 4 weeks prior, and then play them again. And we'll see what happens. They can't get run on like they did that game. They didn't force any turnovers on defense. They turned over the ball once. They ran the ball pretty damn well that game too. Allen had a big day on the ground. So we'll see, man. It's going to be hopefully this is a normal week. All the shit that this team's been through thick and thin, hopefully it's all done and they just get to focus on football. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. I'm going to check out of here. It's 1 a.m. on the East Coast. You guys have a good night. Love you all. Go Bills, 13-3, and home playoff game next week, and hopefully many more thereafter, and you know what the end product will be. Love you all. Go Bills, man. Night.